Welcome to a bonus episode of Sports Geek, episode 172, where I chat with Commonwealth Games chairman Peter Beattie.
Welcome to Sports Geek, the podcast built for sports digital and sports business professionals. And now, here's your host who is happy with his fantasy squad, for now, Sean Callanan.
Thanks, DJ Joel. Yes, I'm happy with my fantasy squad for now. My name is Sean Callanan, and you are listening to Sports Geek. This is a bonus episode. Normally, podcasts will come out on a Monday, but we're bringing this one out especially on a Friday, Australia time, because there is a special ticketing announcement that will happen in the interview with Peter Beattie from the Commonwealth Games, and it's related to when the announcement happens. So on Monday, the 20th, the last ticketing release happens. So if you are in Australia, have a listen to this. The Commonwealth Games are coming to Gold Coast 2018. Check it all out. All the ticket sales have been going terrific, so the last ticket release will happen on November 20 at 12 o'clock. So have a listen to this episode, this chat with Gold Coast Commonwealth Games chairman Peter Beattie. We are here at Crown, and I'm here with the chairman of the Gold Coast Commonwealth Games, Peter Beattie. Welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you very much. Great to be here. Beautiful day in Melbourne.
And
almost a Queensland day.
Almost a Queensland day. It is a pretty bloody nice day.
It is a beautiful day.
It does remind me of Queensland. And you touched on here at the press club the standard that Melbourne set in 2006 and what Gold Coast is looking to do. I first want to get when did your involvement with the Gold Coast Games start?
About 18 months ago.
Yep.
And I've been on that journey ever since. A lot of work was done before I got there, and it's a good team. Melbourne, as you quite correctly say, in 2006 established the benchmark.
Yep.
And we've had Ron Walker and John Hunden who were involved in those games, who've been giving us advice, being supportive. Our view is if we can go anywhere near to matching the games in Melbourne, then we'll be delighted with the outcome. They were great games and set the benchmark. And
some of the questions here at the press club today were about, a common one around major events around, well, you put in these facilities, and we've seen it in, the Rio and that kind of thing, and they're not being used. What are you putting in infrastructure-wise in the Gold Coast, and what's it going to be, that legacy piece?
Well, the key thing is all our venues are already finished, so we won't have the delays that happened in Rio. We're putting our overlay in now, but we have all the venues, all the sporting venues are finished, as is the village, the Athletes Village. So that's one good thing. Secondly, we are making sure that they are community events, so the community are involved in using them, and they already are. Thirdly, the venues will be used for different purposes. Some will go back to what they were, an AFL venue, a National Rugby League venue. There'll be one used as a soundstage for making movies. The village itself.
I think it's the squash courts and the boxing's then going to be used by movie makers for the next Avengers film.
That's right. What an appropriate way to use a venue. You're absolutely right. And the village itself and the parklands, well, it'll be used as a health and knowledge precinct, so research in partnership with the university and local hospitals. There'll be no white elephants. The hockey facility that's been built, the new one, that'll be used for hockey. Bowls are the same. So there will be no white elephants. These will all be community venues or used for multi-purposes.
And from a ticketing point of view, tickets have been going gangbusters. There will be a date coming up where there will be some tickets becoming available.
That's right. In fact, what's happened is because the Commonwealth Games federations or associations from around the Commonwealth, the 70 nations, they have to return tickets they don't use. That's about to happen. And inevitably, not everyone takes their allocation. Those good tickets will go on sale midday on November 20. So if you missed out on the ballot, go online on the 20th, because first in, best dressed.
And what I did love today is seeing, legends of Australian sport with, Kathy Freeman and the passion of Steve Monaghetti, a Ballarat boy like myself.
You can see the quality.
But also, he was ready to throw down with anyone that was going to argue against the Commonwealth Games. That camaraderie and that passion, that's just driving the whole organisation.
It is. There is so much unity, so much passion, so much commitment, because people realise these games not only showcase Australia, and this this is an Australian event being held in the Gold Coast, but they showcase Australia to 70 nations and territories, 1.5 billion people, a third of the world. But they're also an opportunity to inspire another generation of young athletes who in turn will inspire others. So this is why these events, the Commonwealth Games, are so important.
And then the other part of it was also, listening to netball being it's their pinnacle. Yeah. And they get, it's the time that they do get to mix and meet the swimmers and the athletes and that kind of thing. So it is that experience that hopefully someone, I think Kathy Freeman sort of said that she was lucky enough to be on a team with Debbie Flintoff-King, her hero.
Great stories.
And then that became her career. And Mona meeting, Thorpe's mum on a bus. Oh, what's your son do? Oh, he's going to swim. Yeah. Right? And they're the kind of stories that are going to come out of the Com Games next year.
But not only that, they'll make a whole lot of new stories. Because these will be the new heroes. One of the things, and I thought Kathy Freeman was just fantastic, but one of the extraordinary things was when she went to Victoria, that's when she, in fact, became an international legend. And that happened at the Commonwealth Games. We all know her for her brilliant performance in Sydney.
Yep.
But the Commonwealth Games were the ones where she first came to the attention of all Australians and to the world. That is what the Commonwealth Games can do. It can build the future heroes, the future Olympians. They've got to start somewhere.
Yep.
And that's why the Commonwealth Games are so important, not just in terms of current athletes, but future athletes.
And your advice to people who are looking to come to the Gold Coast, what do you think they'll be getting next April?
They'll be getting a world-class event with the best athletes in the world, and they're going to see a huge amount of competition. You're going to have great runners out of the Caribbean, Africa, and, of course, out of the UK. The UK is sending, they break up into England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, but they're sending a great team. It's going to be after the Ashes, so there'll be a bit of rivalry, so there'll be a bit of pom bashing going on. So, look, frankly, they'll have a great experience. They'll be seeing the best in the world. They'll have great transport systems, and they're going to enjoy a safe environment.
One of my first sports memories, being a child of the 80s, was the 82 Commonwealth Games in Brisbane.
Young.
I do look too young, and I try to keep that quiet on the internet. And I remember, and I did collect the 50-cent pieces.
Oh, right.
Are we going to get the 50-cent piece for the Gold Coast? That's the challenge.
I have to say I said yes to enthusiastically because there are some confidential things happening which I can't talk about. But let me tell you, there'll be plenty of memorabilia. You can see that announcement was accompanied by a real crash.
Yeah.
No, but there's going to be there are going to be a lot of memorabilia, and coins will be part of it.
Oh, well, that'll be terrific.
I can't tell you any more than that.
I think I held on to those coins until my early 20s, and then one day I needed beer money, and they donated to a slab. So thank you very much for coming on the podcast.
That's
all the
pleasure.
best for Gold Coast 2018.
All right, mate. Thanks for having me. All the best.
Cheers.
Want to start driving more revenue from digital? Go to sportsgeekcampaigns.com.
Thanks again to Peter Beattie and to Kobe Moore and Dave Colbert for inviting me to the Commonwealth Games preview, where I was able to do that interview after lunch, listening to Peter Beattie and famous Olympians Kathy Freeman and Steve Monaghetti, and the netballers Diamonds captain Caitlin Bassett. So it was good to get their perspective, and as we discussed, when you have the passion of a Steve Monaghetti and a Kathy Freeman for the Commonwealth Games, you can see why it's going to be a big success. And also they've done a terrific job in the ticket sales, and it really gives me memories of the work that we did around the Asian Cup in 2015. You can go back and listen to that episode with Michael Brown from the Asian Cup, in that it's very much a major event. It's not a major event in the same way that the Grand Prix or the Spring Racing Carnival, the Australian Open, is a major event that happens every year. This is a once-off, and so it takes a completely different, marketing strategy to one, educate the market, then also get those tickets sold. So, congrats to the Commonwealth Games marketing committee and the Commonwealth Games organising committee to get it out, have the ticket sales so strong. And if you are planning or you would like to go, don't forget November 20 at lunchtime, they'll be releasing those final tickets. So you will really have no excuse. Also, if you want to hear more from Peter Beattie, you can listen to Dave Colbert on their podcast, Gold Coast Gold. He features on episode 23 in that one. If you want to dive even deeper into the Gold Coast Commonwealth Games. But you can follow all of the handles as GC 2018 are the handles to keep an eye on that. So until next episode, which will come out on Monday, my name is Sean Callanan, and you've been listening to Sports Geek.
Join over 1,000 sports business executives in Sports Biz Slack. Go to sportsgeekhq.com/Slack. Please leave an iTunes review for Sports Geek. Go to sportsgeekhq.com/iTunes. Find out how to drive between $8,000 and $30,000 in profit for each digital campaign you sell sponsors. Check out sportsgeekcampaigns.com. Just like Jimmy Butler, you can call Sean anytime at 614-407-0407-200.